Now, I can stay till Tuesday, and then I can do a class.
You want to do that?
Yeah, I can stay till whenever, really.
Yeah. And then
Well, let
he sounded like running away from home.
Nah, I'm not running away from nothing.
He said, I ain't going back. Say whatever. We're gonna kidnap council for a while. Maybe till Friday. Have him do both classes. Tuesday and Thursday.
Nah, I'm not gonna do both your classes. I'll be a.
I don't even really put my class on either. I just do classes here for the family, for us, the uplifting of people, and I really try to get it through their heads like this is what it is. This is what's going on.
Yeah.
This is what we need to do.
Yeah. A grand sheik from Los Angeles called me, and she was talking about how she's doing what she's doing, and I said, like visibly there aren't a lot of Moorish women being at the forefront making YouTube videos and stuff like that, because a lot of people are learning more science from YouTube and stuff. So I was telling her, just do a few videos, just do something and put yourself out there so other women know, like, this isn't just a male thing. You know what I mean? Because it's being portrayed like that, and that's not what it is. We need the women. You know what I mean? So if you're a woman stepping up, we need you to step up and make it do what it do. Oh, you want to talk about your art?
With me?
Yeah, you want to grab your art and do your thing?
I could give you a quick. Hello, everyone. My name is Zeke Shalabang. This is an art that I did for one of the Moorish brothers named Lala, actual Sam. Real name Razin Beg.
It's Razin Ismail Beg.
Razin Ismail Beg.
He's not here?
Yeah, he's in the shower.
Oh, he's in the shower?
Currently in the shower.
First shower of the month.
He asked me to do something for him. I did a verbal contract with him. He's a good friend, so I decided to draw something for him.
That's dope. That's dope. I think he has that shirt too. I feel like I've seen him in that shirt. He does have that shirt on.
He does. You got that shirt? Look, boss.
That's dope.
With more to come.
Oh, so I keep.
Oh, show him your little wrist thing.
Yeah, I like that. I'm about to order one of those.
Backhanding people with more stuff.
Yeah, been tough. I keep.
Janae said amazing art.
Thank you.
Janae's on too.
More to come.
A bunch of people's on right now.
What's that word? What's the word you said yesterday? That means.
Guilty mind.
Guilty mind.
Mens rea.
Mens rea. R-E-A.
Yeah.
Right. So greetings.
Hold on. Someone just asked, why does God allow so much suffering? We're God.
Why
So based on our inactivity, we allow it.
Yes.
Would you watching my video?
There's so many different versions of God that I've been hearing lately.
Well, there's different versions of God because there's different human beings. There's 4 people in this room right now. Right?
Yeah.
I'm the one holding the camera, so I'm the 4th person, right? And we were talking earlier outside. You said the way you handle a situation isn't the way I will.
Yes.
So of course there's different versions of God.
Of course.
Because we're different people, and we
showed
all
this
have
to us.
God in us.
They showed this to us in the movie. What is it? Attack of the Titans or God of Wars, where the dude, the son of Zeus, Hercules.
Let's say Professor X.
And he was in the desert fighting the giant scorpion and had to go through all those missions
Yeah.
and whatnot. He ends up having to go seek knowledge. Knowledge was a Moor. But to get to knowledge, he had to go through all these tests. And then he starts to see what he thinks is knowledge, other Moors. But they all look alike. He couldn't tell them apart to who was knowledge. Just like now, the Europeans can't tell us apart to who's who, right? So he's going further in the quest to get to knowledge. Knowledge is in the chamber. The main one of us is in the chamber, but there's 1 million of us around the chamber with him. Each one of us separately is going to collect knowledge based on the planet, based on Gia, what we're doing. And it brings it back to the main source, right? that's your example of God they gave you right in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So from the main source, right, at being abstracted from her, the womb, we multiply.
Yeah, I got a painting for that one too.
All the sources we go out, so we're just like they say, what are we, spiritual beings having a human experience?
Mm-hmm.
So we're all collecting this for all law.
Came through fessed up.
Yep. It's going somewhere. The blood is on a journey. That's what people say, no
Oh,
matter-
can you talk about Ruth? The story of Ruth?
Oh, Ruth the Moabitess.
Yeah.
As to how I understand we got over here how we're Moors. Well, the whole why we even in beef with our cousins.
Oh yeah.
Because remember now, the war starts before the Albions. We already won. And in the book of Ruth, the 70 of the tribe of Israel gained permission to dwell in the land of Canaan. And that's where you get the word Arawak, because they had to cross the river to do it. And it's the word Arawak is those who cross the river. So, but this river, wider than we think. This river not what y'all think, there's not no little, oh, we can cross this river right here. This river damn near Niagara Falls like type river. Brown. So this is the Nile. We're all both sides of the family's already doing trade up here. So when we cross the river though, we already on the other side too. Because we end up in the land of Boaz. The northwest, furthest north. We kept going north and west. Further north and west after we crossed the river. And then Ruth and Oprah meet Naomi, who is the wife of Elimelech. Elimelech has two sons, Mahlon and Chilion. Chilion and Mahlon.
Yeah, Chilion
and Mahlon. Listen to the names.
Yep.
Mahlon with an H is spelled M-A-H-L-O-N. Mahlon and Chilion. Right? Those are islands. We know those names. So boom. Elimelech ends up passing away. Right? He dies. So Naomi's left alone with her two sons. She needs heirs to keep the land in her family. She needs for her sons to bear sons, because her sons then already grew up and lived on the land and did what they did. She needs more heirs now from them to keep the land. So Ruth and Oprah, they end up meeting Naomi. Naomi introduces them to her sons. They get married. Ruth and Oprah married, Mahlon and Chilion. But on the quest, Mahlon and Chilion dies before they were able to bore seeds, before they were able to bear seeds with Oprah and Ruth. They died. So now Naomi's like, oh, she's crying. She's like, oh, I'm barren. I'm going to go back to my land with nothing. I have no heirs for the land, no sons. And then Oprah and Ruth start to cry with her. They said, the Bible says they weep with her. And she goes to say, oh, go back to your mothers and go back to where you're from, for I am barren and God has forsaken me this day.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ruth begins to say, they both begin to say no, they're not going to leave her, they're going to stay with her. Then she again pleads with them and tells them, go back because I can't, there's nothing here, I got nothing for you. So Oprah's like, all right, I'm out. Ruth is like, nah, where you go, I'll go. Your people will become my people. Where you lay, I'll lay. Where you die, I'll die. I'll be buried. So Naomi like sees that and she grieves more, and then she follows her back to Boaz. The land of they're in Boaz now. And mind you, what's crazy is that whole I told you I got locked up in the town of Bethlehem.
Mm-hmm.
It's like this seems to be happening right up there because Bethlehem is up there in this in the story of Ruth. So when you read it, they talk about that. So I'm like, it's not making sense geographically where they're saying all of this is happening. But all I know is it's over here to cross on the other side of the river because they ain't go back across it. They still on this side. But Ruth opened now, left, remember now. So she's still over here. The elders of the land, like Amalek's brothers, fall off of the cart for her. And if she would take for the barley or the leaves, they call it, I forgot what they call it, type of shit. Don't let her take it. Order of the king. So she was able to go to the field. So she comes home one day to Naomi, and Naomi's like, yo, where'd you get all this? Where'd you get all this stuff? And she's like, oh, I was tilling in the field, and I was allowed by, and she told Naomi about Boaz, and then she was like, oh, because Boaz is this, that, and the third. So Naomi's telling her, and then Naomi begins to instruct her on how to behave to get the attention of a kinsman. And the kinsman, how to behave to get the attention of a kinsman, and the kinsman is one who's close within blood. When you look up the word kinsman, it's dealing with blood, that of a cousin, Islam. Right? So Naomi says, stay within the fields of his maidens, because there's other maidens there who also pick and get to live in the field, who are of other men and tribes. So that's what I'm taking from the story, because the mother tells her, stay within the maidens of Boaz, so they can see you and everyone who watch you will know that you are fair. So that way, him hearing you're fair and everyone knowing you're fair, it'll be a perfect match if they got together. So that happens, that transpires, and then Boaz invites her to the kingdom now to come to the table.
Talking about Ruth?
To the kingdom now to come to the table.
Talking about Ruth?
Yeah, invites Ruth to actually come into the kingdom and eat at the table. And she goes back and tells her mother this again. And the mom's like, all right, this is what you're going to do. You're going to, after he's full, after he eats and he's full, you wait till he goes to sleep and you lay by his feet. And if you should wake and do that of a kinsman to you, you let it be so. She's literally telling her daughter, if homeboy, you're going to go in there and nice up yourself, get right, lay by his feet, and if it pop off, it pop off. So she got to read the story. So I'm like, wow, this lady really telling her daughter, like, man, about to get, you going to get some, give it to him. Like, nowadays you hear that, like, you whore? What are you doing? Whoring in the streets, what's going on? But that was back then, it was how to get established. Her mommy seen a plan. So boom, she did it. Boaz awakes in the night and he gets scared. He jumps like, whoa, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, I see that you are the fairest and whatnot, and he knows that she, but he said, who am I? And no, he said, is there a kinsman closer than I that'll do this honor for you? Because Ruth already told him that what her mother told her to do, like, I'm here, I did this because Ray Tay Tay. And she's like, all right. He's like, all right, I get it, but there's one closer to you in blood than me. This is what Boaz is telling her. She's telling him, like, she ready, take me. She said, lay your maiden's handmaid's skirt over my body and take of me. That's what she told him. And he's like, I would do it, but there's someone whose blood closer to yours than mine. And he's like, you will perform that of a kinsman to you. Boaz is being honorable to the laws back then of the land. And he said, if he doesn't do the part of a kinsman to you, then I will take the honor. So Boaz goes out the next day, and it's like a meeting is called to the elder brothers who know about Amalek's death. And here comes the one in closer blood to Ruth than Boaz. Now, I had to go in the mind, like, wait a minute, one closer in blood than Boaz, and this, that, and the third. Remember now, Ruth and Oprah come from where? Across the river. The Great Divide happened. What is across the river? Tamari land, or what we know today to be Africa. Mm-hmm. So Ruth and Oprah, we all know everybody's African. It all started there. There's no objection there. Mm-hmm. But one who is closer in blood than Boaz would be one directly from the other side of the river, just like them. Mm-hmm. Right? A Tamarian. Mm-hmm. So that's who came, who Boaz sat down in the field with the other brothers to purchase the land that Elimelech died and left no heir sons to. All remember, Elimelech died, and Chilion and Marlon. Mm-hmm. No sons to take the land. Mm-hmm. So Boaz now, if he marries Ruth, he gets everything. He gets to take it, and the lineage can continue. If not, Naomi gets stripped, and there's no decent nature of her lineage. She's done. Mm-hmm. So all these men are in the field having a meeting now, and here comes the kinsman closer, has died and left two. And back then, to purchase the land was they took off their shoe one took off the shoe and gave it to the next. And that's the purchase of the land back then.
Passing it down.
Them, say again?
So that's passing it down.
Passing it down. So he's telling them, buy this land that our brother Elimelech has died, and that way he can have lineage and Naomi lineage can carry on. And then homeboy, they never mentioned his name too. That's the crazy thing. In the Bible, it never mentioned who the kinsman was closer in blood to Ruth than Boaz was. They didn't mention his name at all. And he's like, when he heard, so then he brings up Ruth and the thing. He said he can't, because then this would hinder him from what he already has going on. So he already is like heir to something. Yeah. And he said he didn't want to give that up to take on what Ruth and all that land and that heirship. So he denied it. So then Boaz had already preyed it though. He already knew this was going to happen. So Boaz said, you see? And he did, and Boaz took it and did the kinsman to Ruth. So he refused the kinsmanship, being closer in blood. He had the right to say, hey, she gonna be mine. Fall back, add it to the collection. What's wrong with you, son, and all this land? Well, he refused it, and he took the shoe off. He said, here, since he had the right, the shoe that was passed off, the elders were all watching. He passed the shoe to Boaz and said, here, you take on it, because he now knows Boaz is next in line, being cousin, and they're doing it by blood. So he passes the shoe to Boaz. The elders are there watching and say, here, I give you the right to purchase, to have this now. And Boaz says, I accept. And he takes Ruth that night and he does that of a kinsman to Ruth. And here we are. Ta-da!
And there we are, baby.
Here we are. Moors. And here we are. And when you could go online and this might be like, since Google is everybody's friend, and I love us down, Google the land of Boaz. It's going to bring you to Utah. Right? Smacking the... But it's going to show you Utah and then a little star, a red star, mind you, on the Google map, and it says Boaz. So they just eschewed on the estate until they brought it down to that little thing where you probably pass through and get a tour guide. Oh, and if you look to the right, that's the land of Boaz. And over here in Utah,
Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Yeah, there's Utah over here. Utah to the left, Utah to the right. Oh, that's just Boaz. But Utah,